Applications will typically use many variables. So this program here has a comment at the top that shows us that it calculates and displays the area of a rectangle. So the rectangle area program has some variables here at the top, calculation, and then some output. Variable declarations should be grouped at the beginning of a block of code. The blank line afterwards makes it easy to determine where the declarations end. So all of your variables should be declared near the top, just as they are here. So here I'm declaring length, width, and area. And the first two lines also have a value that's associated with those identifiers, and then the calculation that's associated with the identifier for area. The value of a variable is changed through assignment. So that's what I was just speaking about. An assignment is formed with the variable name on the left side of an equal sign and the value it is to receive on the right side of the equal sign. So there's different examples here. So we have length, the identifier on the left-hand side, and the value on the right-hand side. So it reads just as it would in math there with English. So the type int as an identifier of length, which is equal to the value of 10. The value could be any actual value, another variable, or even an expression. The variable area here is assigned the value of length multiplied by width. So that is the expression. So the variable or the identifier area is equal to or assigned the value of length times width. An assignment statement can be part of a variable declaration, which this is called initialization. So up here we have initialization occurring. The first two variables are being declared with an identifier and a value associated with them. So the variables length and width are initialized with specific values. It is important to realize that a variable can store only one value at any one time. So for example, we have the length being declared as 10. So initially, at the beginning of the program, the variable length is given 10. Now if I assigned length another value, so instead of length equal to 10, let's make length equal to 12. So now after this line, length is no longer 10. Because based on this line, which follows the previous assignment of 10, length is now 12. The value of 10 has now been replaced. You must take special care with your assignment operations, as this can easily lead to many errors depending on the ordering of your assignments. So I can start with a length of 10 and maybe I want to use a length of 12 later on. But depending on how your program is set up, and depending on the order of your assignments, whatever the last value that is assigned, that's the value that's stored in that variable. There may come a point where you would like to change that value later on and maybe to output another area. So let's initialize length as 10 and width as 2, allow the area to be calculated, and then allow the information to be output. Now, let's say we wanted to find out what the area of a rectangle was. Instead of 10, we wanted to add onto the length a value of 2. When we look at an assignment statement, what's on the right is always evaluated first, and then it is stored in the variable on the left. So here on the right, I have length plus 2. So length plus 2 would be evaluated first. So initially length was 10. Now I'm adding 2 to length. That expression is now equal to 12, and then it is stored into the variable of length. So I've replaced the value of length by now taking the value itself and adding 2. This allows me to take the current value of the variable that's on the left and use it in the expression on the right. So I'm changing the value by using the variable itself. Now changing the value of a variable based on its current value is often done in programming. And assignment operators are what can be used to simplify the expressions that are designed to alter the same variable. And there's a few different ones that we'll look at. So this one is the same as assigning length the value of 12 instead of 10. Okay. Another way I can do this is by using what's called an assignment operator. Okay, so actually on the assignment itself, where the equal sign is, instead of setting length equal to length plus 2, I can use an assignment operator as plus and then equals 2. Since I'm performing an operation on the variable itself, the assignment operator uses that variable, and in this case will add 2 to that variable. So this is the same as length equals length plus 2. Some other assignment operators involve subtraction, multiplication, division, and finding the remainder. So for num players, minus equals 3. This is the same as num players equals num players minus 3. So it's the same as subtracting from the variable itself. Assignment operators will only be used when you are doing an operation on the same variable that you're storing the value into. So whatever that expression is, if you're using the variable itself, then you can use the assignment operators. Now that I've used an assignment operator on length, I want to recalculate my area. So I need to include that expression again, okay, because the program is running from top to bottom. So I need to include the expression to calculate area once more so that the area is recalculated. So before it'll print out the first area, now it's going to calculate my area again, and I'm going to output what the new area is. So area of a larger rectangle in this case, just so I could distinguish between the two. Okay, so now just a reminder again that when I'm doing another expression or the same expression, here I'm calculating length times width one more time. So I'm using the new length, multiplying it by the old width because that has not changed. And once that expression is completed, it's stored in the value for area. So the value that was stored up here is no longer included in area. Now this value will be included in area. And it'll print out both of my output lines of code. And there we go. So the area of the first rectangle is 20. The area of the large rectangle is now 24.